Alright, so if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're trying to learn how to do a cable drawing for Edge Scientific. This is one of the things that I outsource. So this is the typical folder structure that I provide. So we've got the name of the cable, the part number 80-0086, and here's some instructions. I'm going to put these off to the side here, and the we've got custom properties that will guide you through putting the right part numbers into the parts. We've got the design output. This is where you put everything once you're done. Drawing templates, existing parts. In this case, we actually have an existing part. You might not always have one. The from to, this is really what defines the cable, and we'll get into that in a second. The reference drawing, I hope this isn't confusing. We've basically got a Solidworks assembly with all the parts, an example drawing with the notes, the dimension of the cable. I'll talk about this a couple times, but the length here, oftentimes with a cable, you don't want to have to change the drawing just because somebody wants to order a different length. So what you do is you make it part of the orderable part number. So if somebody was going to order this cable, they would say 80-0075-6 inches. Over here you got all the notes, um, part number, description, from to, front view of the drawing with the length dimension, and then the bill of material, which should be generated automatically if you've got your assembly set up correctly. And then in the ref table, we're not checking anything into a revision control system, but we are just manually adding a revision, and I can show you how to do that. And then we've got all the SolidWorks related parts. So the first thing is to open up the from to, and we've got the instructions open already. So we've got it open. Now we need to create all the parts. So you have to look a little bit to figure out all the parts you need to make. Really quickly here, each line of the from to is a wire, and if the connector, here's the first connector, connector 1, and it has this part number, and you can see that each line is going to the same connector. If there were two connectors in here at the same part number, they would have a different reference. So I can tell you just by looking at the from to that this cable has one connector on one end and then this temperature sensor on the other end, and the from to tells how they are connected. So I need this part number, I need this part number, and then if we look down in all these notes, there might be another part number that, if it's a geometryless part, it might be down here, like this heat shrink. You don't necessarily have to show this, but it does need to show up in the bill of material, so it might not need to be modeled. If you really like modeling everything, that's fine, it's great. It helps the cable assemblers. So the first part we'll make is this one, and I'm going to copy that part number, and I'm going to open up a web browser and go to digikey.com, paste it in here. I get a picture, and I get manufacturer. So this is a manufacturer part number. Here's a digikey part number. I'm going to copy, I guess I've already got this copied, but I'm going to open this manufacturer link in a new tab. And what digikey does is they put the manufacturer website link at the bottom of every manufacturer website that they host on their site, so it's really easy to find. Sometimes digikey will have a solid model here. They've got the data sheet, part of their online catalog, and some other parameters of the part, but if they had a solid model, it would be right here, and they don't. So I'm going to go to the Phoenix contact page by going to the manufacturer website, pasting that part number in here, searching. Not all manufacturers provide solid models, but about 90% of them do. So if we go to the product here and then hit download, and then we've got our choice of either IGES or step, both of which would work for SolidWorks. So I'm going to grab the step and I'm going to open that with WinRAR and then go back over to SolidWorks. And now I need to create an assembly first. So I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I'm going to use Edge Assembly as a template. I'm going to not insert anything yet, and I'm going to save the SolidWorks assembly as the name of the cable part number. So here's what I was given from Edge Scientific. If I go into the design output, this is where I'm going to create everything. So this particular cable part number, let's say I don't remember, go back over here, it's right here. 80-0086. Copy, paste that there, and then the description, I can just copy and paste it, and I'm going to save it right here in the design output folder. Okay, so now I'm going to create my first part by dropping in this geometry that I found from the website. So when I drop that into the assembly, it converts it and creates a part file. So now I'm going to save off this part file, and I'm going to save it as a part, and it's got the right name. Let me just check real quick. 1803581. Yep. And then for the description, I'm going to grab the description from DigiKey. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to, since it converted it into an assembly, but I just want the part, so I'm going to say all components and save it. Now SolidWorks is funny. I've still got the assembly open, so I'm going to close this, don't save, and then I'm going to open it. It'll be in my recent. Okay, that's a little confusing. Now I'm going to give it all the parameters that will auto-populate the bill of material, and I can do that with my custom properties. So here's the Edge custom properties that was in the template. I'll show you that. If you go to SolidWorks preferences and file locations, you can point it to this part custom properties, and then you'll have this fly out here. So I'm going to go ahead and populate all the things that I need for the bill of material table. So you have a description in there. This is from DigiKey. I'm just copying and pasting and then alt-tabbing back and forth. $3.41. And these others aren't really that important. I'm just going to copy that over. The equivalent okay, that means if the cable house has a similar kind of thing in stock, that they can sub it out without having to call me and ask me. And for this one, it's very specific. It's a connector. I don't want them subbing it out for a generic one unless they ask me. Now, if it was a terminal that was used in a connector and they had it in a different format, suppose they had it on tape and reel, and I called out bulk on my drawing, then fine, swap it out. But for this instance, it's no. All this other stuff, we're just going to leave that blank. I'm going to hit apply so it saves it. And save. And now this is ready to put into the assembly. So when I put it in, I think I want to look at it from this angle here. What is that? So that's the top, I guess. Anyway, let's go back to our assembly. So I'm just going to pick